It's the official NRL Fantasy Podcast.
I feel like we've got the band back together. We're live. Here's your boy and Rolly, Luke Seifleet. I'm Paulie G. Welcome.
Excited?
Yeah, this is good. This is good. I feel like I'm home, shall I say.
All right.
Good. I need this. I've been going terrible, so I need all the advice I can get.
That's one way to describe it.
Yep. Let's go.
I tell you what, we're going to do the podcast. If you're listening on the podcast, nothing really changes. But if you're watching live on YouTube, then you can get your questions in. We'll answer them very soon. But first of all, we've got to recap. Pretty interesting round two. A lot of upsets, I thought, Luke. Like, that was surprising, particularly the Roosters result.
So you're changing the format a bit like people are changing their trades and strategy 2 rounds in?
We've changed it up.
A few panic stations there a little bit.
Back to the originals, mate.
Well, it goes back to the older saying, right? Don't overreact after one game.
Luke Metcalf.
Luke Metcalf to the moon.
I regret nothing.
And safe half people held on, probably still happy with that, given what's happened to a certain edge player from Canberra and a couple of others.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So it's always sometimes the best move's not to make a move at all.
Andrew, what did you make of the round?
Yeah, it was terrible. For me, it was terrible.
Too many injuries.
I made all the wrong calls. I just
short and sweet.
Everything I did was wrong, so I need to really have a long, hard look at myself in the mirror.
You're like Isaiah. Law of averages says this round you're going to go really well.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
Well, he got his lowest score in about 7 years, so it's great stuff.
Turn it around.
Especially when Payne Haas is getting, going to break the PPM record for all time. It's great stuff.
Well, those that thought they'll save a few K, because Yo and Haas are interchangeable, I'll just get the one that's cheaper. They're sitting on cloud.
Well, no, the irony was we'll get the one that's more reliable.
Yeah.
And he's playing less minutes and he's scoring nearly... Yeah, it's great.
It happens.
It happens, but again, like I said, don't overreact.
The Roosters weren't expected to win that game, though. Like, they'd play that game another 9 times in a row and you would not get that result.
Didn't expect to win. That was the greatest upset in the NRL era.
There you go.
I can't remember one bigger. Even the Tigers beating the Panthers a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
This one was huge.
Just watching Cleary and Yo just trying to get their score to tick over. Just doesn't happen.
It was a bad night for you two because you'd already had to watch your team go down, man.
No, we weren't talking about that. Let's move on.
That's all right. That's fine.
That was a bad night.
That's why you don't overreact after one game.
Sunday was much more enjoyable viewing for some of us on set, mate, anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I was happy for you, Paulie.
Stafford Toa had a good game, didn't he?
Sure did. He was looking like a well-better.
I think he's going to be the most popular guy traded in this week.
I think so. Just the price. Because he only had 3 games last year and he was injured in all 3 of them, his price came way down. His usually averages quite a bit better.
Well, like I said to you before the show, so if he literally scores high 20s next 3 weeks, he makes 100K.
Yeah.
So that kind of speaks for itself, right?
And Tom Starling was good again, and Corey Horsburgh. And Hosking was good, but then obviously coming out of the game with the injury, Matt Nicholson is going to be another hot topic.
Yeah, he's amazing. Couldn't believe, only 29-year-old. Ricky loves his English players. Yeah.
Well, we were doing a bit of a deep dive over during the game. We were talking about he was actually on pace to break the all-time debut fantasy score record. Yeah. So he was on pace for it until he got a rest. So.
And Brisbane, on the other hand, reverted to type. Goshevsky, Shibasaki.
He had Jekyll and Hyde, right? So you had Reece Walsh. I know someone on this table has Reece Walsh in their team.
This is a safe space, is it not?
That's why your score's what it is. It's not your fault.
I got Reece Walsh. He's going to come back, guys. Trust me.
Yeah,
Trust me. He'll be fine.
When an 80-minute player is taking points off you, you know you've had a bad weekend.
Yeah.
Well, producer of the show, Tom Leake, I played him in draft, and guess who Leakey captained?
Yeah.
Reece.
Oh,
so he got double negative because he had double points. I've never seen that before. I've played fantasy forever.
That's 10 minutes in the bin, I think.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we should move on and go to this week's games, shall we? And make sure you're getting your questions in, because once we've done these previews, we will be asking or getting your questions and answering them best we can. But here we go. It is the grand final rematch, going to be one of the games of the year. Storm v Panthers. Storm coming off the bye, playing at home. Andrew, there's some guys here to like. Ryan Pappenhausen, Cameron Munster.
Yep.
Possibly Jack Howarth.
Yes, we're talking off here with the producer again, Jack Howarth. He made a good case for him. He's dual position. Obviously, they're not going to have a bye for a little while now, so probably won't play Origin. He's got a lot of upside.
Alessia Carto, I'm going to add as well. So This is going to be a huge game. Would you bring any Melbourne players in this week?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's rare that Penrith are coming in off a loss, but I don't know. I feel like they're off a bye, the Storm. So I think they're pretty safe all year.
Luke, what about yourself? But if you were conservative and you only had the round 2 bye and you didn't start with the likes of Munster, even though you wanted to, is this the week to just bring him in, or do you want to watch one more?
No. If you want to bring in Munster, get him in. If you don't have him in already, you're probably behind the 8 ball, to be honest.
50 on the predictor.
Yeah, and also too, I just think people that are riding the Humphries train. I mean, is that really sustainable? If you really want him on your bench and you want another starting half next to him, probably. But again, I mean, this team's just rolling. Probably probably a bad time for him, to be honest. I mean, they were rolling.
Didn't talk about my boy Trent Liero.
Yes, the Trent Liero.
But
he's my favourite.
He has a big game as well. You got to add him to the list.
Yep.
Sean Bloor is another one, and then a lot of people went Harry Grant.
Well, yeah, that's the big one, because a lot of people went in just to get the hooking situation out of the way, but then he scored a 30-something with a try, which is not great.
They need him
in almost scoring 60 points. Yeah.
52 on the predictor for Grant.
I think Howe's a great shout if it wasn't for Stafford Toa.
Yeah.
I think it's just
Centres were kind of stacked.
Yeah.
What about Penrith? Obviously, no one's saying drop him yet. Although Yo to Haas wouldn't be the craziest.
They were on the night of the game. I think a few people were getting a little bit cranky, a bit of rage trading, but no, not
quickly
yet.
They forget.
And are you captaining Cleary this week? What do you think, Luke?
Well, I did hear a few whispers coming out of a certain host's mouth that a certain Tiger might be better off captaining this week.
Terrell May could be an option, Andrew. You like Payne Haas.
I like Payne Haas.
I
think they're going to go bananas against the Cowboys.
Unfortunately, not everyone's got Payne Haas.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. I made a spicy trade.
I think almost May's the minutes he's playing, he's probably almost undeniable at this moment.
Cleary might be a vice.
Because everyone has him, right? Everyone has him, so it's safe. Like
IPAP's back on the bench. Yep. It's interesting. I thought. Jack Cole kept his spot.
Well,
He's sitting there at 18th man. He wasn't in the reserves last week.
There's a lot of lurking threats there.
Yeah. Dane Laurie into fullback, so Brad Schneider playing 14, so that's another lurking threat. Let's move on to the Warriors v the Roosters, and I don't think this time a week ago we were thinking this clash would be very good, but it turned out after they both won in upsets last Friday that it's going to actually be a good game. And Roosters obviously getting some back, but let's look at the Warriors team first. And Luke Metcalf, Andrew. It was the game I think all just footy fans were hoping he'd have, even those that dropped him in fantasy, because he's one of those likeable players and
had a terrible run. Had a terrible run with injury. You just want to see him play footy. I mean, it's not nice when he's carving up your team, and I dropped him the week before or that week. But no, it was really good to see him put in a really good performance.
If you held him now. You're just riding that wave, right? Because he's on the way up. That last minute try really kicked into gear. He's break evens.
Good kicker too. So if they score points, you will get the extra points.
James Fisher-Harris, Luke. I've got to mention him as well.
Well, again, the Vegas chat was he wasn't going to play that many minutes, but because of the game and because they kind of needed that win, he ended up playing big minutes, and so did Barnett. So
Barnett didn't get the fantasy points though. Are you worried?
He was on for a long time.
He did a lot of work. I think he missed quite a few tackles a little bit. So
I'm keen on the 18th man they've named, Jacob Laban. I'll be watching him closely after. If he starts getting into the team, he's got very good PPM in New South Wales Cup, and he's very affordable. So after their round 5 bye, maybe.
Again, back to your point about the Metcalf thing. I just feel like if you're going to stick with him, you're just going to have to.
You're going to ride.
You're going to ride it and just basically take the good with the bad. Because I think this team all year is going to be up, down, up. I just feel like they're going to be an absolute wave. This team because of the way they play.
Absolute tips.
Well, I think Robbo will love this because it's almost a free shot again.
Let's talk about the Roosters. Teddy was outstanding. I think people were hoping that getting closer to Origin would be a time to pick him up on the cheap. It's not going to happen. He's putting out he scores.
He's doing like we said before. The ball was kicked in round 1. He has to do too much in this team.
Yeah.
He's doing second and fourth runs.
Yeah.
Like he's just.
Robert Toya. Andrew, outstanding, and his centre partner didn't probably score as well fantasy compared to how well he looked on the field.
He was great. He was great.
I think this could be the game it starts translating though. I think I can see a lot of missed tackles in this game.
If you own both those Roosters centres, I think you're just holding and you're thinking this is continuing.
Given the carnage this week, I think you can actually play Toya this week.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because last week I can understand people that took his score and then said, oh, whatever. But this week, I think I'd be definitely playing
you wouldn't have seen that coming. Who would have seen that win coming? And you would have rightly benched him, So, yeah, against that back line, why not?
Sandon Smith as well goes straight into your
Mate, he's another fantasy barnacle. You feel like you've got to get rid of him every time he just pumps out these 45, 50s.
Yeah. And the forward pack changed as expected because we've got Collins back, Radley back and Lenu back, but Nafa'u White and Siwa Wong keep their starting roles.
Well, we said last week they're big fans of Nafa'u White. So
plus they did a job last week,
and that's where Radley's got to be.
Yeah,
it's this edge stuff's got to stop.
It's looking good. If you went White and Wong at the beginning, and people sort of said, "Oh, you're crazy," but it's working out.
So he plays his best football. He plays his best football in the middle. Angus is coming back with a vengeance too.
Angus has got a high predictor.
Yeah, well, shock me. Look who he's up against.
But Watson may get reduced minutes because that bench is much stronger. So he may actually get a rest.
Yeah. Well, he was playing with a hot hand last week.
You still got to be happy with what you're getting from him so far. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, agreed. We need to also mention on the YouTube page right now there is a Warriors 24-hour live stream to celebrate 30 years. And we've got plenty of Warriors and Cowboys content over the course of the season.
Up the wires.
Just keep an eye out those 30 years celebrations.
Friend of the show, John, might be dimming the lights, a bit of popcorn, and might have to get him back on the tools, so be good.
Let's go to the Friday night 8 p.m. game now. Broncos and Cowboys. It's all Queensland derby. And we'll start with Brisbane. Madge, I think, will be absolutely fuming with what they put up down in Canberra, Luke. They've named the same team.
Understatement, I think, Paulie.
So everyone's got a second chance, including Jack Krzyzewski. They're going to need to prove it, though.
Yeah, again, but we not to play Nostradamus here, but we did before the round one. We warned about this, right?
We warned about Shibasaki and Krzyzewski.
Yeah.
We were worried about Hetherington, but some of us, like me and Presto, took the punt anyway.
But you got to take a role in someone. You don't want to have everyone have the same.
He's a trade out for mine.
Who's that?
I'm trading out Kate this week. And then Reece Walsh, though, even though
I'm holding. Yeah, he was my
You have to hold Andrew.
He's going to have a good year. I think he's going to be awesome under Madge. So I think bad game. Move on. It's fine.
Your stars play well, generally speaking, against the Cowboys. Guys like Hines went well, so Walsh should get
This is always a sold-out game too. And again, I'd be shocked if Reece doesn't put a minimum 50 on this fantasy score with this game at home.
They'll have a rocket up with him.
Yeah, mate. Of course they will.
Payne Haas, it's unbelievable.
Mate, he's been. I think he's been the best player in the comp so far. 2 rounds in.
Yeah. And Corey Pakes had a better game last week as well. That's the storyline for them going forward. Is what are they going to do? In a couple of months when if Mam's going to be, is it going to affect you? Does he almost come into play after Origin if he gets named? So Ben Hunt might play hooker. You'd think
it's just something to keep an eye on and keep an eye on with his price and stuff.
What about the people that? Because Jesse Arthurs has had a couple of big games, Andrew. He's a bit of a trap though, because they're ceiling performance.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not going to score 2-3 tries every game.
Yeah.
I do also.
He does work hard. He does have a mistake in him, but yeah, I don't know.
Not to beat you to the punch, Paulie, but the Shibasaki owners, I would be nervous with that team.
Tony Staggs is named, don't he? Man, so that's another thing.
You got to be nervous because again, this is what I'm talking about. All these centres we got now, I guarantee a lot of people have got Toya, got him. You're going to have to start making calls because
if teams don't win, coaches make changes.
That's right. But also too, your premier players are back too. That's the problem. So
Dean Mariner was there. I
would not be shocked if come 7 o'clock, He's in the team.
Sarki's out, Stag's in.
Because they're not taking Mariner out. No way.
Speaking of coaching changes, the Cowboys team, well, Jake Clifford in, Tom Duffy, fantasy darling at the start of the season, is already out. So, Andrew, a bitter blow for those that start.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised, though. Like I said before, I think, they finished the year with Clifford last year.
Yeah, and he looked
essentially
good.
ending...
Made the finals.
Yeah, they made the finals. Won the finals game.
Yeah.
So it was not odd because they've obviously got big raps and he's obviously a very good player, Duffy, but I really think that Clifford is the way forward for now.
So he's a sell, would you say?
Yes.
Duffy, if you own him. I know you were smart and stayed away, but...
Well, I was scared of Clifford being in the wings. So, I think so.
They got to win. They got to win, mate.
Yeah.
What about Jackson Purdue, Luke? Like, he's a worry as well, right?
No,
At least he's been named.
Everyone in this team's a worry, mate, to be honest. Like, we even said it on the weekend. You know who's bleeding money? Reuben Cotter.
Yeah, well, he'll become a really good
He's going to bottom out, and you can almost buy him.
Well, you would.
When he bottoms out.
Because you know that Origin players always save their best performances for about round 6 to 12.
Yeah.
So I reckon then you just pick him up.
Again,
they've got to win a game eventually, but this is a tough
Not
game.
to contradict myself, they just need a win.
Yeah, both teams will need
as long as that's still happening, the problem with this team is you can't really get anyone because the team's in flux.
Are you worried if you own John Bateman?
Nah.
What about Reece Robson?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because again, you're bleeding money. You almost got to get off because the problem is you either invest elsewhere because what happens? Your cash will just freeze.
Kai O'Donnell could have been an interesting cheapie, but Nanai's back on the bench, so I think that sort of will lead into his minutes.
Yeah. Again, but the only thing I'd probably ask, probably a good thing you brought it up, is that do we believe now if Nanai's on the bench? Does that mean he's going to take back his original spot?
And Bateman moved to the middle. Tamalolo's playing prop.
Yeah, I was going to say Tamalolo.
Can you see that happening? They move Bateman over.
At this stage, I'm thinking it's O'Donnell, but you're right, it could because he might want some starch up the middle.
But also, he needs to go back to what his position is on the side of the field.
His side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bateman at lock works, but then Cotter would have to move up to prop.
Well, I think that's... Well, you've got the Tamalolo there. So I just thought it'd be...
When Tamalolo comes off, Nanai on, Bateman lock.
I know a lot of people will be asking that question. That's why I raised it up. So
let's talk about the 3 p.m. game. I'll be there. Sharks v the Rabbitohs. Can't wait for it. It's going to be a good one.
Will you be signing autographs?
Oh, people are.
Selfies, photos.
I've done selfies.
Selfies.
I don't
make sure
mind
if you're there, keep an eye out for you. Tell them what you're wearing at the game so they can keep an eye out for you. Haven't decided? Well, make sure you tweet it out and wear a hat. We get like a
NRL hat.
Fantasy hat, something.
Do a little meet and greet.
Well, I'm telling you, you love talking to the fans, mate.
Yeah, well, happy to take the questions.
All right, good.
Look at people's rankings. Come up the other.
What if they're ahead of you, mate?
Well, one of the guys.
You can ask them for advice.
One of the guys was ranked number 1 a couple of years back. He's like, look at my team.
We don't want to worry his Manly drama.
It's all good. Yeah, that won't happen. Let's talk Sharks because that was impressive. Yep. And Nico Hines led the way as well as AFB, and somebody on this table owns Mr. Fanul.
I do. I wish I captained him, mate. Even though he didn't set the world on light, but he was a bit better than Cleary. But yeah,
It's good.
We didn't speak about it. So I actually brought in Payne Haas. So I've got Fanul Black and I brought in Payne Haas this week.
You've just gone full Avengers, mate.
We're going to talk about
We'll talk about okay, sweet, yeah. But very happy with AFB.
And there's a few very astute players out there that started with Teague Wilton. So that turned out well because he had a good game as well.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he's
a goer.
He's just a good player.
He's a goer.
Kyle Iro.
Yep.
You'd almost have to consider him at some point.
Yeah. No, I'm just not paying that much for a set.
Not now, but I'm just saying there could come a time where...
Breaks tackle, scores tries.
He could be one of the best.
Yeah, doesn't make too many mistakes. That's what you want.
So when you've got enough money...
Yep.
Well, speaking of Barnacles, you want to do the next thing, the next team they're playing?
We'll move on to Souths because you're right, Cronulla at the moment, they've got minimal fantasy relevance.
They just won't die.
Teams.
They just won't die.
Souths have lots of fantasy relevance. Jamie Humphries, another cracking game. 70 again.
They've had no right winning their first 2 games and somehow they've won. That's what Wayne does, mate.
Bit of magic dust.
Magic dust.
Magic.
They lose those games last year. They get pumped.
And if you kept the faith in Mamazelos, he rewarded you.
Oh mate, yeah, Shane Flanagan loved that. I tell you, he pointed that out in his presser twice. The falling for the fake twice and just not paying. Mate, it's good for owners. We needed it because everyone has him, and I think it was pretty much last chance saloon for him for a lot of people. A lot of people would have gotten off if he didn't got
I got rid of him this week.
Well.
But you're getting rid of him this week on the back of a good score.
Yep, not good enough.
Okay.
Not good
Wow.
enough.
That was a great game.
Not good enough.
He's going out on top, mate. He's doing the.
We're gonna talk about
Not good enough.
I don't want to.
Not good enough. He's done his job for me.
I don't
mate.
want to destroy the preview, but we're going to get into
Alright.
detail of
Everyone-
this once
okay.
we're past our 8 games.
Yeah.
Tallis Duncan went off early, but he's been named at lock. So
Just like his teammate, he
it's a
just
bit
keeps
annoying.
coming back. He's
Yeah.
like
because
Jason.
we like him, right? If he's going to get big minutes. But anyway,
Murray 2.0.
Well, at least we've got a looper now, Paulie, because Hubner's out for a couple of
I'm
weeks.
glad you mentioned Hubner being out. Andrew, do you think he's a hold?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too, Luke.
Yeah.
You agree? Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's purely for his looping too.
Just loop him.
I got so many guys I just don't trust. I need to loop some guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps in that regard. It's not going to be so easy next week though, because Knights are on bye.
Yeah.
So rather than Dragons, so that's going to be a bit tougher. Let's talk about the 5:30 game, the Dolphins v the West Tigers, and
Game of the round, Paulie.
well, it's good coming off a win, but the Dolphins are going to want to have their first win of the year, right? So,
Yep.
Herbie again going great guns. Isaiah Katoa, I knew he was going to have a good year this
Yep.
year. Draft option, right? A really good draft selection. He's still probably not quite the right price in fantasy. If we had less half options, we just got so many.
Yep.
And then we've got to talk about Tom Gilbert. Luke, was that a revert to type, or do you think he can bounce back?
I think he can bounce back.
So you think that's not?
But
what he's gonna do?
it's not going to be crazy round 1 stats. But I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a 55
Somewhere in the
point.
middle.
Yeah, I
Round,
think
Drew?
Luke's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
I
we
was
want-
chasing those points after round
No,
one.
he was doing.
Oh, most
He was
yeah.
doing in that Newcastle game. He was doing a lot of tackling.
Yes.
If I didn't have other fires, I probably would
Yeah.
have also chased him. So
Yep.
It's just they're just desperate. They need something. Like again, they got dealt a hard hand in round 1.
Yep.
Because that's hard. But then they just need to win at home against your mob, and they'll be.
we're watching the
Back
hammer.
on
This
track.
is the type of game
Yep.
the hammer can go well in.
And I'm also,
Sarko
and I'm
will bounce back.
yeah, I was going, yeah, you bet me to it. I was going to say Sarko. I think it's
Yeah,
Sarko's
he'll
for a
bounce
big
back.
one too.
Yeah. And Junior Tupou against his former club. Let's talk about the West Tigers. We've got to talk about Stafford Torre. I know we're going to get questions from him
Yep.
shortly. Is he a guy worth picking up, or is that one of those games? I mean, he got 100 a couple of years ago, but he doesn't normally get those super high scores.
It smells a little bit trappy, but he's
Yeah.
the right price.
He's the right price.
He's the right price.
But-
So, I mean, I think the risk is pretty low.
Especially
with him.
with so many of these cheapies
Yeah.
like Duffy's not even named,
Yeah.
Jack Cole's underperforming,
Yeah.
Gashevsky, Shibasaki. Any of
Problem-
these guys you could move on for
Yeah.
Toa and it's a better
Problem
I
is
think
if you
so.
don't get him, you're missing out on the cash generation. Because the problem is you're not getting him to keep him. You're getting him for the next 2-3 weeks. Then you upgrade him straight away because there's a quicker 100k.
or more.
Exactly right. But I'm saying,
Yeah,
I'm
minimum.
just saying people understand.
Yeah.
If he scores literally 20s the next 3 weeks, he's still making 100k.
Yeah. Now we need to come back to the point you mentioned at the start of the show. Terrell May, is he a captain choice?
Yep, 100%. If Benji's going to leave him out there that long, mate,
Especially in that
he's
heat
just
in
braining
in
it.
that heat as well. Like, I don't know how he did
But-
it
but
as a human being staying out
That's
there
how,
that
but
long.
that's how he's getting away with it. That's what I'm saying. He's just leaving him out there. He's doing what when Payne Haas first came on the scene.
Yeah.
He's doing that to him, so he can play the other guys less minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, if Terrell's happy, keep doing
Well,
it.
it makes the
Feels
rest
like
of
he's
the
got
forward
a
pack
feel like
look
he's
good.
got like
Especially-
a point to prove or something.
especially-
He's definitely got a couple of chips
He's
on
got
his
a bit of a
shoulders.
chip on his shoulder.
Especially this
Robbo
week
is.
too with the Penrith Storm matchup because you know Storm defensively it's not going to be a shootout, but they're going to defend. They're going to defend. Like Killia's going to have to play an AAA plus game
If
to get a bigger score. So
Penrith didn't have that awful loss last week, I would not captain Cleary. It's only because of the bounce back factor that I'm thinking, well, I may as well keep the C on Cleary because it just smells of this bounce back
It just depends where you are too. If you've started well this season, probably keep going Cleary. But I think if you've fallen behind a little bit and you're kind of 100 something points behind, I'd almost go May just to bank it and then go get your points with your pods like Mollers, like your AFBs of the world, all those guys. Like it's just very, I don't know. It's just
I
something.
almost think the other way. I almost think that if you've gone well, May's going to be a solid captain's score, whereas Cleary could go anywhere from 45 to 105. So that's where the risk comes in, right?
Well, so what? But let me ask you this though: what do you come full time after the Penrith Storm game? What are you happy with?
Oh, yeah.
What's acceptable? Like, so I'm going to go full cookie here.
No,
What's
we'll get in-
acceptable?
we need to stay on track with Dolphins Tigers. We'll get
okay.
into that.
I'm
all
just
right?
saying.
I need to ask some more questions here. Alex Seyfarth.
I have kept my head in the sand about him a fair bit, but he's been doing pretty well. So
he's just too valuable with his DPP now, with all those guys out.
What about Jack Bird, Luke?
Yeah, I probably have to sell him.
Yeah, I'm looking to.
Do you give him one more week, just in case?
I might just have to purely because I've got to sell other guys.
Yeah, he's beating his break even.
If I had 4, he'd be gone. But because he's 2, I'd just probably leave him, stash him away.
Watching Dream Buller because he's under an injury cloud.
There's a couple of fullbacks under injury clouds, unfortunately.
Mason has joined the reserves this week.
Big fan of Buller.
Titans v the Knights, and well, we'll get to Newcastle. They were outstanding last week, but let's start with the Gold Coast because a lot of people had faith in Campbell, Brimson, Kinney. It didn't really work out.
Les missed a jump a little bit.
Yeah, so Andrew, are you worried if you went like myself, Brimson, or Longy went Campbell?
No, I have faith in the Titans. I don't know. I just feel like they kind of missed a jump a little bit. Maybe that's like round 2. Everyone else has played a week. They're just timing's a little bit off.
Behind.
Both halves it happened. They missed a jump in the first half and the second half, and they competed for 60 minutes of the game, but they just, like I said, missed the first 10 minutes of both halves and the game was over. So, I have faith in the Titans. They're a very talented team.
They're a very hard team to get a read on. Like Payne Haas playing 67 minutes. What's going on? And then for Fafita coming on the second
31.
half. I get if you want to have a minutes restriction, but wouldn't you be better off bringing him on when the game was kind of there and then taking him off again? Like I think Fafita's almost worth 2 interchanges, isn't he?
I don't know.
Like that game was there to be had because Burton and that went off.
Yeah.
They were, because you give credit to you. I thought it was done and dusted, and you said, "Oh no, the Titans will come back," and
they always do.
They did, but
they can hurt you.
Without Fafita on the
Dogs were on fumes for the last 30 minutes. That's why they had to bring Salmon and that back on. I just found
Fafita on the right never seems.
Their identity for me is they're like a shooting star. That you get them like sometimes you get them in a good mood, and sometimes you're like, "What's going on?"
Both for more was good.
It's good for us.
He's always good.
I think he's probably a top 5 candidate this week for people to bring in.
Well, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui is the guy I am recommending to bring in if you don't have other fires to put out.
Yep.
I think he could get anywhere to 70 to 80 in this game.
Always a threat close to the line.
Yeah. I just think that he's got to play big minutes, and he just seems too cheap. He started so much lower than his usual. Should we talk about Newcastle?
Well,
very good. Kalen Ponga, if you started with him, tip of the hat, because it was risky because of the bye, and you definitely wanted to have Dylan Lucas, and you probably wanted to have Greg Marju, but if you managed to get all 3, you were really cashed in. The problem will be obviously next week, but hey, for now.
Yeah, same with Bradman Best as well. I think, again, I still think he was underpriced at the start of the year, and I think he's starting to show that now. Obviously, Lucas is a gun, must have, and I'm spewing I missed on the Ponga train. Yep, big fan.
Yeah, considering these other wing fullbacks, I mean, Turbo was unlucky with the injury. Because he was on his way, but obviously we don't need to mention
the bloke I'm annoyed at. I should have looked at more, but he was too pricey. Was Fletcher Sharp?
Yeah, and he's another one, but again, I think the round 4 bye just really.
I'm saying like I would have gone like say, instead of like, if we've gone Lucas and him, because I've only got one night, so I couldn't afford it.
Do you think, Luke, that
I was
Greg
30k
is
short.
still a buy?
Yep. Mate,
would you wait until after they've had their
probably.
rest? Or are you concerned that he's break even?
Their draw's just too good, mate.
Yeah,
their draw's
it's a great
too
draw,
good.
isn't it?
Yeah, Ponga's got the hot hand too, so setting up everything.
Yeah, because you can only play what's in front of you.
Yeah.
So, no-brainer for me.
Anyone on that left, Best, I'm a Best owner. I'm happy with that score,
very happy.
77.
Yep.
And then, Sharp and Ponga loves to go left, so all right. Get your questions in. We're getting very close to answering them now. Just a couple more games to get through, and then we are going to get into those great questions that you have each and every week. Parramatta v the Bulldogs, 4:05. It's going to be an absolute rivalry game worth waiting for because the Eels need to win and need to win badly.
Well, it's very trappy too.
We've seen upsets, so I wouldn't put it past Parramatta to turn up.
And again, not to go too negative, but like they got to show something. That was
Hopgood was good.
Yeah, he was good, but man, that was a tough watch.
The first 20 minutes was
tough.
It was a hot day.
Yes.
There were reasons.
Yeah, but both teams are hot days, mate. You know, like that's
it's
like it's just it's there's so much on them. Like I feel like, again, I think to your point, I think Hopgood's a great shout. I think even if Riley Smith gets more minutes.
He's getting the minutes, but he's not converting them.
Well, because the problem is but their attacks just so no one's letting them around.
It's got to turn around at some point. Dean Hawkins gets a shot at up,
right? Yeah. So
well, he's very steady. That's the thing.
Might be better than Volkman.
Well, I think they just need a bit of a veteran guy to just go, listen, kick here, run here. You know what I mean? Like get their Penicinis of the worlds involved. Get their Lomax. Because what happened in the back end of that game, the Tigers game, is that they just started getting Lomax. That Lomax was playing that roaming role, playing fullback.
I wanted to ask Andrew about that. What did you make of Zach Lomax roaming around the field, going to wing at times, playing?
I mean, I noticed him taking kicks and kick returns from the wing and then defending in the centre, and then I don't know. I think they just need to kind of just lock in and do one thing right for now. Do
you think Dylan Brown needs to move to the right? Like, he's played a fair bit of right when Moses has been out. Would that work better that Brown and Lomax are getting a combo?
But that's what everyone's been saying, that he needs to, because he's on this big money contract next year. He needs to be the number 7 now, but like they haven't trained for that. He's their 6.
Yeah,
he's their 6. So like get that.
Yeah.
No, he's their 6. He's not the halfback. So it's a totally different position.
Isaiah Iongi, I feel like he's got to go into your emergencies right now.
Yeah, you can't play him.
Yeah.
Can't play him.
As well as he's going, I think he can look himself.
I'm expecting he'll get a better score this week, but you cannot play him.
He's playing as well as you could expect in a team well beaten.
Yep.
It's not translating to fantasy scores. He's lost money.
No
one would have ever thought he would have lost money.
That's why the change again. That's why every time we change halfbacks, it's always good for everyone else, because the problem is all your gun players are not getting the ball.
Bulldogs have got changes, obviously. Matt Burton's out, Viliami Kikau's out, Bailey Haywood comes in at 5'8". Satili Tupanua will play on the edge, reprising the role that he had at the Roosters, because he's been playing middle and quite well for Dogs. Mm-hmm. Salmon at lock. I mean, where was this last year when we all started?
when we started,
right?
Yeah.
It's
How was that run he made on the weekend too? The run up the mills. I believe that check Mr. Gilmore was just running up there, looked like he's slow motion, mate.
So they're the guys. If you're like me and you own Jacob Preston, you're sort of, I guess, comfortable.
That's why this is such a weird game, because again, I can understand people getting on the Hopgood track. I can understand people like Burton does a lot of that sneaky like running through the middle, and so who's gonna compensate that to get the other guys involved?
They're a small team already, and they've lost 2 of their biggest or tallest players, Kikau and Burton.
Yeah.
Well, in attack, I mean, Crichton might go to, in attack, he might go to 5'8".
He did play a bit of 5'8" in the back end of the first half, but defensively they were all out of whack.
Defensively, he'll be in the centres, but he might run the attack at 5'8".
Even Kurt Mann might spell there at 6'2".
Yeah, he's another option. And then you look at the reserves, and guys like Jack Todd. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting somewhere in that 17 because he's a ball-playing middle.
Yeah.
This is
might, with no Burton, they might just need a bit more creativity.
This is by far the weirdest game of the round, because I can't get a feed on it, because it just.
I'm going to this game too. Well, I can't wait.
There you go, autographs,
weekend of
selfies,
league,
everything.
Like the festival of the burger.
You have to do a fit check before you go too.
Do
a fit check up.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. Shout out to the boys coming down from my old cricket club.
There we go. You're a popular guy.
Potts and Leasy.
It's good.
I'll be there.
Very
Charts,
nice.
Kev. So they're all either Eels or Dogs fans. So some will be heading home happy, and
you
some
just
won't.
be the neutral.
Oh, I'm like the ref.
Yeah, you are.
You know, like I used to.
The bush ref.
Yep. So they all know that from my days in Group 1.
Next game.
Let's go. Game of the round. Go Manly.
Manly beat the Raiders.
Actually,
it is the late game.
It is a pretty good game.
And, well, Canberra are undefeated. 2 people were hoping I'd be saying Manly are undefeated, but it wasn't to be. They're still looking pretty good, though, I've got to say. And they get back Kohler, Takiaho, possibly Nathan Brown and Tommy Talau, because they're in the reserves. So there's a lot to like here. The worry is Turbo's been named, but if you're an owner, are you concerned because he had to go off early, or do you think that everything will be sweet and he'll bounce back?
I think you're concerned because his name's Tom Trbojevic. Yeah, obviously, like he plays, he's going to score lots of points. If he plays the full 80 minutes, he's going to score points. So yeah.
Only difference
you're an owner, it's fine.
Only
It's a worry.
Yeah, only difference with other years is that they've got a guy there that's
Lehigh.
Pretty good. Then the problem is that doesn't put as much stress on them saying we have to play Tom. So for me,
well, the other Tommy Turbo Talau could come in on
as
win.
hard as it would be, I'd probably, if I did have him, I'd probably trade him out and get one of the other big guns just to protect yourself. Because again, it's the last game of the round. You don't want to get caught because that means you have to play the Yongis of the world, all these guys. You're going to get caught. Yeah,
need the cash. Olaquatu owners, are they concerned? That was a well lower than his.
Well, friend of the show, Rossler, he captained him.
Yeah, another. Pull one out, as they say, for Ross Thorne.
He captain Noel, you captain Reese. It's just.
I think Captain Reese.
Oh, sorry.
So I don't know what's worse, Ola or Reese captaincy.
Yeah. So.
What did Ola end up on?
A Reese regular.
I think like 27.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Disaster, but not as disaster.
Yeah, Paulie, I don't think that team. I think that team will be 1 to. I think that 1 to 17 will not be the 117 by Sunday.
And Garrick, are you okay with it?
Yep.
36. I thought, considering the way the game went, like he still scored well.
Considering the possession and what happened in the game,
it was annoying, that goal kick.
Every now and then he's got one of those in him.
But he's like a Sacco. That's what he does. Sacco 1 week will just nail everything, and he misses the ones from in front. Does it all the time.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's talk about the Raiders. They were outstanding.
Yeah, they deserve to be talked about. They're good.
There's a lot of fantasy relevance here. So if you don't own Corey Horsburgh, I think he's a must-buy. And a bit of a tease to our official NRL Fantasy podcast team. Andrew and I went through it today. So a bit of a tease about Corey there. But then if you've got him, the other bloke is Matty Nicholson.
Yep.
So Zach Hosking, Andrew, is he a definite sell? We're hearing 4 weeks.
4 weeks,
If it is 4, I think you've got to sell. If it's less than 4,
I think
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money sitting on your bench. I think as good as he's been, and I love seeing him go well. I think you just need to.
Yeah, but also it's the Tommy thing now. They've got so much depth there.
Yeah.
They don't have to rush him back.
And if you can be smart, you can move Hosking off your edge before you make the trade. Because if Ricky Roulette happens, because we're worried, right?
Last game of the round.
Because if Nicholson gets benched an hour before kickoff, you got nowhere really else to go.
Yeah.
One idea I had was if you don't own Tom Starling, you could go to Tom Starling.
Yeah.
You do love Tom Starling, don't you?
Well, I've got him already, and he's absolutely braining it for me. But I'm just saying, if you're worried about getting Nicholson, but you really want him, just a peace of mind plan B. Just pop Hosking into your interchange before you make the trade, and just keep Nicholson there. Just even if you have to move Lucas to edge this week, just do that.
Yeah.
Just in case something that only Ricky could do happens. Tamale was outstanding. He was only on 8, I think, at half time, right, or just after half time, but then he scores a try, he saves a try, like that was unreal.
He got his Jacob Carraz on, that's what happened.
Yeah, he's got some Carraz vibes.
Man, I'm telling you, he's Carraz 2.0, I'm telling you.
All right, Raiders, just keep going.
We got Tamale and we got Humphreys. Humphreys is the next Watson. We got Tamale the next Carraz. we need that graphic up with both.
It's going to be a good game. Good luck to you too, because it's going to be. And the Raiders, I think, won last time.
I think the theme. I think the theme this year is. I think home ground is going to matter quite a lot this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last game. This is the one that Manly threw away last year. So
the wet Friday game.
I imagine they won't be doing that the second time. If they get to that sort of lead.
That's it.
Let's take your questions, shall we? And this is going to be exciting, right? And do we know about Humphrey's security is the first question. I can't quite see who that's from, but Humphrey's security, well, I'm not worried.
No,
You're not worried.
I'm not worried.
You're a little worried.
No, I was before the New South Wales cut.
Well, Dodd's been named.
Yeah, Dodd's been named, but
I don't think it matters.
I don't think
it matters.
You can't. You still got to get him, right? You can be worried as all you want, but you got to own him.
It's like the Stafford Toa thing. You still got to get him. That's what I'm saying. Like he's doing so much. The only thing I would say is I think anyway I wouldn't be worried about Humphreys playing 7. I think he's going to end up being their long-term 50-minute 9 anyway. But his work rate's too good.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it, buddy. Just get him and keep going.
And Hubbard asks, could I go cold Nicholson? Well,
love it.
You must have a lot of money.
Love
in the bank.
In the bank, yeah. Why not?
Love it.
Yeah.
I love Hubbard Bubbers too.
I'd like to, I think moving on from Cole, yes.
No brainer, dude. Just do it straight away.
First game of the round. The only fear would be Nicholson gets Ricky Bulletin.
That's
you can't reverse
just revert you, but
well, you can't.
no.
Cole plays first up.
I think you'd be all right, mate. I'd do it.
It's still probably worth it.
Makes too much money.
That break even is crazy.
Makes too much money, mate.
Keep your questions coming. Adrian M has done that. Is it worth 2 trades to get Haas? Well, Andrew, I should throw to you, because aren't you doing that?
Yeah, I've done it this week because my theory is I'm burning trades. If I can get them, I'm going to get them. So I've gone from Hosking and Mamazulis to Haas and Sam Running. Doing it. Can't talk me out of it.
Well, hang on.
Can't talk me out of it. It's done.
I love the Haas part, but I know you love Liero, but wouldn't you go Liero to Stafford as your second trade?
No.
Why Sam Rani? He might not even play.
He'll be there,
Addo Carr's been named in the reserves.
Mate. Did you see him play? He was one of their best.
Luke, can you?
No, mate. We've all
Can't talk me out of it.
We've all got our vices.
You cannot talk me out of it.
Worth
Logic
2
will
trades
not,
to get Haas, yes.
Logic will not
The
work.
second trade, Samrani, no, is my advice.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, not me personally, but mate, everyone plays differently.
Jack Abraham, is there a chance of Tupanua being more consistent?
We should ask our friend, get Brad Preston on the satellite phone here and ask him. He's a big fan.
Tupanua is not a buy. Jack is only a freshman when it comes to fantasy football. He did have a good game.
Friend of the show, though.
That's right.
But
everyone's got their own
We've all been
teams.
burnt by us who have been around a bit longer, been burnt by Tupanua in the past.
Just by the way, too, Jack. It's just the way this season's gone now. Because Paulie has said that, I think he'll almost be due for like a 60, 65 this week.
Even if he gets a good,
I'm just saying.
You're stuck with.
But he can follow up next week and go.
Well, just like Shibasaki.
How long's
2 weeks?
Kick out? Kick out's going to be out for a little while.
A month.
Yeah, so
one of them is a buy though.
Yeah.
So you get 3 weeks.
I don't mind. I think it's not that bad, Jack.
expensive.
Yeah, he's not too expensive. But again, like Andrew said, everyone got feeling on guys.
If it feels right, Jack, do it.
That's right.
If it feels right,
Don't do it.
Do it.
That's right.
I'm trying to help you, not hurt you. Jeremy Worth is safe after trade out. I was more impressed with his game last week. I think that was more a relevant question in round 1. I did trade
Jeremy,
him.
he's good to keep, mate. Just stick him around.
Because he's dual position.
He's too
and
handy.
we don't really know where the West Tigers sit yet, right?
He's too handy, Jeremy.
We're not really getting... Have you got a pulse on them yet? Like, are they a decent team? Are they...
They're pushing for top 8, yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
I
West
just
Tigers, because we haven't seen enough.
Yeah, no, it's
we
way.
need more data. Of
No, but
course,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We haven't seen enough. Let's wait. So that means you don't trade him out yet. What if they go on a bit of a run?
Jeremy's playing too many minutes. His job security's there, and like Paulie said, his DPP. Why would you get rid of guys like that you can rely on?
Yeah, unless it's the second trade to get Haas.
Not everyone can get a 60. Like a 40's a good score.
Sometimes you just need the tradesman, mate. Can't all be Clearys.
AI Dog wants to go Hosking to Nicholson, and then he can go Grant to Haas. That seems a bit crazy.
Get Haas in.
So you would get rid of Harry Grant after one game.
Yep.
Get
So
Haas in.
that one I like, Paulie, because that's aggressive. He's gone. Yep. You know what?
Not working for me.
Not working for me. Man, but I can understand that logic because he's gone. I'm going to start making cash.
It's a long season.
I'm going to get the best fantasy player in the game.
It's a long season, but before you know it, it's round 20, and you don't have.
Payne Haas,
you need to.
He's only playing limited minutes.
Yeah, but
eventually he's
look what he's scoring.
Yeah,
Are you doubting Payne Haas?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're doubting Payne Haas.
Yeah, I'm doubting that every week he's going to score that.
Okay.
And to get rid of a guy like Harry Grant, who's probably going to have a really good game.
What have you done for me lately, Payne?
No, it's not about that. It's about Harry Grant. I'm happy with what you're doing. You're going an injured player trying to get Haas. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'm trading a keeper after one game to get another keeper.
I just don't think I think the hookers are just too. It's too fluid
Watson,
at the moment.
Starling, Mamazelis, they're all going good.
Exactly right. That's why you do it.
Hub is back. Can you loop? Hub, no. Yes, you can. Make sure you put him at 17. Is Duffy to Howarth good? Wow.
There you go. That's like on Andrew's territory there. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, I can't take credit for it. That's Tommy.
Well, again, Hubba must have really banked.
Have you got Toa Hubba Bubba? If you got that, just do that.
We haven't had the Stafford question yet. I thought that'd be loading up. Maybe Tom's trying to keep it a big secret. JD Takatoa Ma is Turbo a sell? Well, you said earlier that he was.
I'd probably, if you're going I'd probably go to another.
It's hard to trust him.
It's hard because I don't want. It's like Paulie said. It's hard with the last game around. I don't want people to get stuffed over. That's the only thing. Because again, they got to.
That's a guy you could go to Haas instead of Grant to Haas. Like it makes more sense to go Turbo. He's got the niggling injury with, we've seen him at his best, but then at his worst.
Lehi just can just do the job so well. That's the only. I mean, they got so much depth in that spot now. Like there's no. If he's at 70%, Seabold's not going to risk it.
Exactly.
Because if he's out for 8 weeks, they're cooked.
Here's a great one for you, Luke, your favourite player. Barty Boy wants to go Tarpanay to Haas.
Yep.
But Tarpanay's your favourite player.
Yeah, he's favourite. Yeah, mate. You can't get personal in fantasy, mate. Haas is the best fantasy player this year by a long way. It's sickening watching. If you don't have him, it makes you sick to your stomach.
Do you have him?
No, I don't.
So you're going to get him?
Because I went safe and got Isaiah Yeo.
Safe. Hey, it's round 2. Let's not overreact.
Just for context,
I love
every year.
Overreacting. It's amazing.
Every year I went Payne Haas.
I know.
And I said this year we're going to play it safe.
Yep. But it's round 2. He could get injured this
Man,
week.
he's just. I think people don't comprehend how well he's playing.
Yeah, but
he's literally worth 3 players when he runs the ball,
He's going
mate.
to brain it.
He's playing the Cowboys this week, Paulie.
He's a captain.
You can't
lock it in. It's fine. Lock it in.
Well, we'll be back here next Tuesday and we're going to revisit it.
Hang on, just stop for a second. So what do you think he's going to score this week?
I think he'll probably get around 55.
Oh, 55 fantasy points?
Yeah.
I reckon about
Haas?
80.
Haas?
About 80.
Let's see what the predictor says.
Oh, mate, you are playing with fire there, buddy.
69.
Do you watch?
Yeah, okay, 69. There you go, 69.
I reckon he's pushing
69.
80.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that just blowing apart your team.
But he's not blowing apart his team. He's
strengthening your team.
He's going a team full of mids to the best mid in the game.
Daniel Dimitrevski. Good afternoon, boys. I'm sitting in the top 6K at the moment. I'll be rage trading Yo to Haas.
There you go. Same. Well, yeah, again, I probably wouldn't do. I wouldn't do Yo, no, Daniel. But I can understand people doing it because he's just playing so well.
Let's just not go crazy.
Okay.
Just do what you feel. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Get Haas in.
No.
I'm not going that crazy.
Daniel, just
get
you're
Haas
in the top 6K.
Get Haas in.
Don't waste trades. Don't go sideways.
I'm not in this top 6K. I don't have Payne Haas.
Speaking of sideways, that's a good one. That's a
Lee
good one.
Warburton wants to get rid of DC to get Munster and then Leo Thompson to get Connor Watson. This is a really good question because with Zach Docker-Clay playing so well and the Roosters got 3 middles back this week, I've got a vibe that Watson's going to get a spell. He's played 80.
100%.
He's played 80 both games, and I think it's a long season. He's going to play Origin. I think this is the week that he gets a spell. So the problem is, Lee, because I'm like you. I didn't start with Connor Watson, and I'm trying to break apart my team to get him in. But now that team's been named, I'm looking at it again, going, well, hang on. Is this the week that he goes back? Still gets a great score, like a 50 or 55, but he doesn't brain it with a 90 because Robbo's like, come off, mate. Like you can't do it all every single game.
Yeah.
And then you've broken apart your team. But then again, Leo Thompson, it was a great idea to pod him. He's now out, so it doesn't hurt. DCE played really well round 1, Andrew.
Yes.
Do you think it was just the classic of going over to New Zealand, playing those dewy conditions?
Yeah, of course.
They're a different team at home.
Of course.
And Munster's, he's going to play Penrith. That's not an easy.
And also too, Lee. Remember with DCE when he played his game on Saturday night. Literally the next day, he got massive. He got like a 20-point update.
Yeah.
Like if he starts if they get on a bit of a roll, he can get like an 80 pretty easily.
If it was me, I'm probably more thinking Leo to like a Matty Nicholson, trying to generate some cash.
I think it's too sideways. I think you're kind of like you're getting rid of a problem and inheriting another one. Because like Paulie said, if Watson gets 55, 60 minutes, you're going to be blowing up deluxe.
Good question.
Yeah.
But it is good.
That's a good question.
Good question.
Yeah. We'll see next week. I want to.
But that was
back to us, Lee, next week because I want to analyse.
Before thinking about it, I was like, yes, do it.
Oh,
I'm going a bit off the hip this you guys. So.
Hamwe Pere, Blake Steep.
Is this your burner? You were talking up Steep, weren't you?
Yeah, last week I said if you're going to get a Rooster, like don't get Feketi, get Steep. But now that the three guys are back, it might be ship sailed, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too many.
But he was good.
Too many big boys.
He was good. And the Nufo White holders, they look very good at the moment. And Southern Nuku, is Ponga still a buy or too late? Well, they've got the buy. Speaking of buys, the following week, so you're going to now wait unless you're only playing head to head. If you're only playing head to head, then the buys you can manage
on current form. Yeah, just buy them after the buy.
And I'm surprised no Stafford Toa questions, Tom. Like I can't.
Just give us your Stafford Toa.
We need to talk about it, right?
Go.
So at what point is everyone just bringing him in?
I think the two people will be Nicholson and Toa. That's what I think.
Or Haas.
But even if you're going like a Haas, he's still, because Toa's only 290.
Yeah.
Are you trying to do Haas and Toa?
Yeah.
Like, is there any scenario where we don't get Stafford?
Not for me. His cash gen's going to be too good.
Yeah. I don't know. You've made me think about it. Bringing in.
Look,
There's got to be a way you can keep your man Liero and you can keep them
look at all the drama you've got at centre. Like if you get, mate, I'm telling you, you're going to have to get him.
Yeah, maybe.
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
I like the idea of what you're doing. You just
don't get personal with fantasy, guys.
It's like he's done the woodcraft and it's looking pretty good, but he's got to shave a bit off the
it's
side.
It's all about this.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Christian
good.
Tuipulotu.
It's
It's
right.
good to be back, right?
Yeah, it's good
to be back. So
Good banner, some shocking takes, some good ones,
Amazing
but
takes. Yep.
it's all good. I'll be sending Payne Haas your personal video message over here because.
Well, in the end, I said 69, so we're going with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening on the podcast, why not join us next Tuesday from 4 p.m. It will be all together. We do it all in one hit. So we get your questions. We talk a bit about last week. We talk a bit about the week coming up. I think it's a lot of fun, and we might just be able to help you win your fantasy league while we do it. So, League Cyfleet, Andrew Willenrolli, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Keep an eye out for him in the games this weekend, remember?
Meeting and greeting.
Yeah, I'll see you at the game.